I am here with the amazing Deidre. And I just thought it would be really fun to kind of interview her a little bit, get a little take on what it was like, kind of the experience of going through the Style Awakening, because it's really helpful, I think, sometimes for people to hear from someone else's mouth instead of mine. So, first of all, Deidre, thank you for jumping on with me today.
You are so welcome. My pleasure.
Yay. I would love to kind of start with, before we started working together, and for everyone, she went through my 3-month Style Awakening, like over encompassed, like full picture. And I'm just curious, before we started working together, what was the state of your style?
Oh, I can literally say it was depressing. Literally. And so when I say it like that, I was actually in the midst of a depression, working with a therapist and surrounded by just an amazing, amazing community that was supporting me as I was going through it. And when I say literally, it was interesting because, excuse me, when we were going through our closet purge, and looking at the clothes, I couldn't believe it because it never even occurred to me, but all of my clothing was either black or brown, like every single piece.
Yeah.
So when I say my closet was depressing, I mean, literally, it really was.
And it's so interesting because you're such a bright light and you have a special place in your heart for Hawaii, which is so like floral and vibrant. And it's like what you were wearing just wasn't really aligning with your true soul.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
So what was it then that caused you to say yes?
Oh, that is a great question. So, I had gotten a challenge to kind of step out of my comfort zone and be seen. And so I said, okay, if I'm going to do this, then why not just work with somebody who I know, I trust. I've seen her work. And so I was like, Amanda, do you have time and space? And you said yes.
Always. I always have time for you.
So yeah, but it definitely I needed some pushing. I definitely did because I was not comfortable. Yeah.
I remember that. So I want to fast forward now, because now it's been many months since we've worked together, and I'm curious how you're feeling now about your style.
Oh, night and day, like night and day. So, a real funny story, and I don't think I even shared this with you. So, you can just call me the Ross girl. Like that's where, I did most of my shopping. I would go in, go to Ross, find something that would, just work and I'd be okay and come out. And during our journey together, you so pushed me to try on not only, different brands, but to push the price range up.
Yeah.
And so here's my story is a couple of weeks ago, I needed to go shopping for some professional clothing. And as I was, driving down the highway, there went Ross, right? And I didn't even blink my mind. And I ended up at Neiman Marcus and went in and walked out with a fabulous pair of pants that cost, close to $400 just for a pair of pants, which for me is remarkable.
Absolutely.
Without blinking an eye. And so, when you ask me where I'm at now, just night and day in terms of the colors I look for, how I want to express myself, the brands that I'm comfortable with and how they fit on my body. Like just, it doesn't even compare.
And then how do you feel now in that higher quality clothing than you did in the Ross clothing?
Well, to be honest, I'm still getting used to it. Like I love the look and I love how it fits. what I get used to is other people noticing and remarking on it. Like I get so many comments and compliments now, and I've been saying thank you. And so that's still, a little out of my comfort zone, but yet that's a really great place to be.
Yeah. You wanted to be seen, you're being seen. So now it's just about like receiving it and like, yes, I'm here.
And being open to it. So yes, it has impacted so many different levels and layers of my life. Like I can't even begin to explain it all. But one of the least is interactions with people, like just so many people just in random strangers just come up and start a conversation with me. So it's been phenomenal.
Mm-hmm. You've elevated your vibe and your energy. Like your inner is now matches your outer. So there's authenticity. So people feel comfortable, they can trust you. And you shared with me that you also had something like after we went through the Style Awakening, that something magical happened in your business that month. Are you open to sharing that?
I am. And so right after the purge, and then we started, going out and looking for outfits and helping me understand how to put things together. I have one of my clients that's been a long-term client with me was actually had a little bit of funding. And so we were talking about some ways that they could use it. And without even thinking about it, I just, up-leveled them in terms of, well, here is what I do. Here's a new product that I'm rolling out. Would you like to, enroll in it? And they said yes. And it literally was like maybe a 2-minute conversation. And what was so phenomenal about it was the yes was over $42,000 in just 2 minutes. Right. I mean, and I didn't even hesitate or think anything about it. And it was just so natural that it was just great. It was just, like super exciting. Yeah.
I love that story. And it's when you invest in yourself and when you start showing up differently and when you know you're worthy of spending a little bit more on your clothes, like the investment always comes back tenfold, 100-fold. Like it always comes back to you in other ways because you're saying like, hey, I'm worthy of feeling really good. I'm worthy of investing in myself. And then other people are going to be like, well, I'm going to invest in you too.
Mm-hmm.
It always starts with us, right?
Yes, it does. But you would never have convinced me before this.
I know.
Right. And so, so I'm just going to do a really quick plug here because if you're anything like me and you're like, oh, yeah, no, I don't, believe in it. I didn't either until I started doing the work. And so many things shifted for me that I'm like, okay, I am definitely a believer. Absolutely, 100%.
It's so much deeper than the clothes. And it's funny too, because Deidre and I are in like a business community together. We've been accountability partners for years. She knows about the success that my clients are having. So it's just, interesting that it took you, but it just wasn't your time yet. Right. And then it was. And so I love that you actually got to experience it and now have such a greater grasp on it. And something else I want to make sure people caught too, when you were sharing about going and doing your own shopping at Neiman Marcus, did you guys hear that? She did her own shopping. So it's like, there's a training that happens through the process where you get really clear on who you are, that you can then go out and shop on your own without me. I would love for you to always shop with me, obviously. Yet, there's one of me. So that's the reality, is like you're learning how to do it on your own too.
Oh, yeah. So let me just be really clear. Even though I was by myself, you were there with me. Like you were in my head. I could hear your voice saying, yep, nope, put that, don't even look at that. Try this instead. So you were in the room with me. And Amanda, we didn't even talk about this, but I think it's also important to share just the idea around body image. Mm-hmm. Because that was part of the work two for me is, you know, acknowledging and loving the body that I have, as opposed to something that I think I should have, or, you know, and I want to have. And that alone was just, you know, even going through that process. So when I was out shopping, you know, and you know how it is, you can get in front of a, you know, a 360 mirror and go, ah, and I didn't. I just said, you know, here's my glorious self, and all right, clothes, let's see what will work for you, as opposed to the other way around. Like, I wasn't trying to shop. I wasn't trying to put my imperfect body into perfect clothing. I was looking for imperfect clothing for my perfect body. Huge shift, huge shift.
Mic drop.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of you, because that is definitely not how we started, right? So that's
yeah.
So, okay, what would you say if you had to pick a favorite? What was your favorite part of the Style Awakening process?
I would say it was the closet purge,
Mm.
because it gosh, how do I describe it? On so many different levels. Like, again, the huge aha about just the color, like that just blew my mind. And I'm like, oh my gosh, no wonder I'm depressed. Look at my clothing. And so that was huge, because that was something I was able to change immediately. Like, I was able to go out and, you know, bring in some colors, and then instantly just start wearing those colors, which changed my mood, and supported me, you know, in my growth, and, you know, and becoming healthy. So that was huge. That was literally, you know, as soon as we were done with the purge, boom, I had actionable item that, you know, was immediate. So there was that. And again, part of that was, oh, I know what was also really good was that as we were going through the purge, like, I'm closing my eyes because I'm like right back in that moment. And you would say, okay, the clothing that, you know, that are left, because I just fully admit I had to get rid of the clothes that had holes in them. And, some of us have those. So I had to get rid of those. So that was a journey in and of itself.
Yep.
But then it was like, okay, let's look at what's left. I want you to touch it. I want you to try it on. And you were like, okay, how does it make you feel? And if it didn't make me feel a certain way, and we identified it, right? It was like, it had to be sassy and cute and light me up. And if it didn't do that, then it went to the giveaway pile. And that was huge. Like, I still get chicken skin thinking about it, because one, it was like, oh, I'm giving away clothing that's still good clothing. So there was that journey about just the letting go.
Yep.
But also this idea that, you know, now I have a way of knowing what clothing really works for me, because of the spark, or what lights me up.
Yeah.
So I know it immediately just by looking and touching and feeling it, or trying it on. So that was huge too, because it was like, whoa, oh my gosh. And so let me tell you this, because this is also another great story. I'm telling you so many different levels. So over Christmas, I went shopping with my daughter. My daughter is almost 30. And so we went shopping together, which in and of itself is huge, because never in the past, I never liked shopping. That's not something her and I did. But we went over Christmas and went into a store. I think it was Banana Republic or something. And we were trying on clothes and just having a great time. And she looks at me and she's like, oh my gosh, Mom, you have really, really changed. You never used to go shopping, and I can't believe we're having such a good time. And I was like, yeah, this is great, and clothes are just being flung left and right. And so lots of different levels, even my relationships, my close relationships have changed. Yeah.
That's all so beautiful. And like what I just keep hearing as you're talking is just complete self-acceptance.
Mhm.
Like you have just learned, you have really stepped into complete self-acceptance of you, of your gifts, of your beauty, of your intelligence, of what you have to offer, your value. And you're just showing up completely as you. And
Mhm.
because of
Yeah.
that, the people, the places, the things, the money, it's all just being attracted to you because you're not trying to prove anything anymore. You're not hiding. You're like, hey, this is me. If I want to wear bright yellow, if I want to wear bright green, if I want to wear florals, I am because it makes me happy. And what I
Mhm.
love too is even on the days when you don't have clients or you're not, going anywhere, you're still getting dressed in a way that makes you feel good. And
Yeah.
it's been so beautiful to watch just your energy shift and your mood shift and to see all the abundance coming your way. It's just like I get emotional. I remember when you said yes to working with me, I started crying because I was so excited for you. And I'm like, oh wait, I'm not supposed to be crying. I think I was almost more excited because I knew the process you were about to go through. And yeah, I just commend you for even on times when it felt really hard. And that's why I always say people, they're like, but it's just clothes, it's just a purge. And I'm like, yeah, but when you really allow yourself to go through it, it can be extremely emotional and extremely cathartic. And you were in it and you were going through it. And here you are.
Yeah. And here's the key for me is that I was going through it with you.
Oh, yeah.
I
Mhm.
mean, there's something to say, about having a stylist, but like what you were saying is all of the coaching, and it was a journey. Like I knew you were with me every step of the way,
Mhm.
which is huge, right? The trust, the love, the outpouring. And what I came to recognize was that you saw the vision of me before I could see it. And you held it for me.
Ooh, chills.
So thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And that's really what it is because it's like you have it within you already. You are already this magnificent soul. You already are creating beauty in the world and you are beauty. And it's just helping you realize that. Like I'm just over here, biggest cheerleader rooting for you because absolutely I see it because it is you. You just hadn't been seeing it because you were just a little cloudy. That's really all. So
Yeah,
yeah,
lots of clouds.
that's like that. But now you're like in the sunshine, which is so beautiful.
Yeah,
Now,
definitely.
is there anything else that you'd like to share? You've shared so much, just so beautiful. Thank you. Is there anything else you'd like to share for anyone that's watching this? And I don't know, any final words?
I can't think of anything, but as soon as we stop, I'll have like 200 more things to share or think about because it it hasn't stopped. It's not like, I went through the 3 months and we did this great stuff and now it's over. It's not. It's still continuing. It's still, I'm definitely still in the journey. And yet um I'm just like, oh, this is fun. Like this is like super fun. I want me more of this. Like, yeah. So it's ever evolving.
It is. So is life, right?
Yeah.
That's the beauty of it. Just like our style is always evolving, our cells are always regenerating. It's like
Mhm.
just keep going, and it gets
Yeah.
easier and easier and easier. And well, thank you
Yeah.
so much. I love you so much. It's been so beautiful watching your journey.
Thank
And
you.
thank you for being a part of your journey. And thank you for sharing so vulnerably your story.
You are so welcome. Mwah.
Mwah.